engineers, when I start working on a problem, I think about what's the worst day going to look like, and then I need to have enough. That approach doesn't work for this problem. Right. You have to think about flexibility.
And we've seen a lot of solutions going that way, where we do a lot of work in Europe, and we get feedback from customers saying, I need this to last 10 hours a day. And so is putting 800 kilowatt hours installed on the machine. I need that. No, you don't. You need that sometimes. And also, not only do you not need that, you do not want to pay for that, right? If there has to be a humility in this. We don't know everything. And what we are also trying to avoid for our customers is when you are making this shift and you're taking this next step, there is a lot of risk, not in can it work, but things are changing quickly. And so by having a modular system, our ZQuip modules are sources of energy. These batteries are sources of energy, but they are agnostic to battery manufacturer. They are agnostic to battery chemistry. They're agnostic to source of energy. You can eventually put a hydrogen fuel cell in them because we know that whatever battery exists right now, it's probably going to be very different in 5 or 10 years, but these machines are going to be around for 5 or 10 years.
Right.
It's a difficult sell when we all acknowledge that this is very expensive. I can't ask a customer to make a large investment in a machine that there's a risk that it'll be obsolete in 5 years. By doing this type of conversion system where we have the bare tool and the battery, that bare tool will last as long or longer as any machine that's out there right now. I would argue longer because a lot of other things, it will last longer. And then by also saying, we don't know what the future will hold, but I can guarantee you that this machine will be able to use anything that comes out and you don't have to take that risk. It's stuff like that that we're hoping a customer sees, and it's not right for everybody, but some will see it and say, that was it. That was what we weren't comfortable with, and now we are. And so it also makes it really fun for us on the engineering side and the innovation side of, right? It's paralyzing sometimes to not know what the future is. And so and there's never a right time. There's never you're never gonna, and I think that a lot of OEMs want to be more comfortable, and that's okay. But customers aren't there yet, right? So there's going to be a gap between when a customer needs something right now and when an OEM is comfortable in making a big investment in a production line and a facility and distribution and everything. So we view ourselves as that middle ground where we can provide a very, very high quality, high productive solution for customers right now in a way that makes them feel comfortable with the investment they have to make, that they can get their work done. And in a way for OEMs where we can be that innovator and take that risk to show what the future could hold. You can still sell a machine and we'll convert it. Customer gets what they want and we get to accelerate the innovation in this space.
The last time I was talking to a customer and they were getting ready to buy some more machines, they were actually uncomfortable buying diesel machines because they weren't sure they were going to be able to use them 5 years from now in the environment that they might be against the law to use in the city environments where they need to work. And so we're in this kind of weird tipping point right now where everyone's a little afraid to switch to electric, but they really don't want to buy any more diesel machines either. It's a strange tipping point we're at.
Right. So do you foresee this working on all types of job sites and all types of machines, or are there certain ones that maybe it's not quite yet ready for?
There's certainly machines that are the most optimal. So excavators really lend themselves to this. That's partially because of the layout of the machine, the counterweights, we're replacing the counterweight with the weight of the battery. So there's a bunch of things about excavators that make it particularly good. The other thing about an excavator is that it's one of the least efficient, hydraulically efficient machines out there. And there's a lot that can be made up as soon as you make the machine electric. So excavator is good. The other thing is that excavator does most of the work in the world. On multiple continents. So they're doing most of it. So excavator is really where we would start. Other markets, like, seaports and airports, all these things, that all works really well. But staying within construction for the moment, start with excavators. We can go as small as a CTL or a skid steer That's another really, really good place to use them. Particularly like if you're in, imagine you're in like a nursery or maybe taking care of an apartment complex and you have, now you don't have to deal with the oil changes and all the complexity and all the maintenance on it. It just becomes just a very easy machine to own. It's a hassle-free thing. So there's a lot of good applications there. Bulldozer is a particularly challenging one. That's a very energy dense machine. For the physical size of the machine, it's very energy dense. I don't want to say we're not there yet, but we're certainly not tackling the most difficult problem first. So excavators, wheeled excavators, another one, CTL, skid steer, wheel loader. These machines are just they're right in our wheelhouse right now.
And for the use cases, there are always use cases you shouldn't do. And you always get the people who are like, well, what about when I'm in the middle of the woods in northern Canada and there's not a town for 1,000 miles? Yeah, don't do that, right?
Yeah.
But look, where it really works is fixed-based operations, where you have some sort of electrical infrastructure, early days of a site. Even if you don't, it can work, but it's about finding the use case where it's not just can it work, but why are you doing it, right? We're early enough in this phase where when we look for a customer, it's important to know why they're doing this, because you get a lot of companies who just want to show that they're doing something, but unless you're really committed to the cause and the cause of going electric, I honestly don't really care why you're going electric, but you need to really have the commitment to making this work. And then from there, we can say, what do your sites look like? Where do you normally do work? City centers are great. Large infrastructure plays, warehousing, distribution centers, data centers, things like that, where you're going to be there for a while. You really got that site operation going. You've got the fixed base of operations. Those work really well. But I think one of the most fun parts of this is, my God, we get so many calls and emails of, I'm in this site. Would it work there? I don't know. Let's go look. And so there is no site is the same. And so we like to hear about them all, and then we'll help you decide from there. But it's in our best interest and the customer's best interest to be on the type of site where this makes sense and that this can function properly.
Okay. Well, we've kind of talked about all the various benefits and things, but maybe how do you guys maybe foresee this type of conversion kit maybe helping the market in general and that continued push towards electrification in the construction equipment or even other potential markets?
Yeah, the conversion kit in the ZQuip solution itself, we think is going to help accelerate that first step. And so I think that the barrier to a lot of the OEMs and existing players to really making a firm investment here is that they don't know what's possible and they're not willing to go that step, and understandable, right? So we believe that this type of convert the machine at a low fixed cost, allow options for a customer to get energy then to the machine. We allow customers to buy battery modules. We allow them to rent battery modules. We also offer, flex options where if we see something is going wrong and you're going to run out of battery and you don't have one there, we'll call you, right? And we can try to get one to you. It's that type of system that we think is important to accelerate, that a customer has low financial capex. Convert this to flexibility in how you get energy, turn that more into an operating expense that feels like the current environment, right? And then give them the flexibility and the confidence that they will have what they need when they need it. That is the value in this. And it's just winning one customer at a time and getting people to really see the benefit and preach this. I don't know what's going to happen with the future of electrification, but there has to be a standard. Everybody has to be on board with how they want this to work, or else everybody's going to fight against each other and it won't happen. You cannot have two different electric machines working next to each other cohesively unless they were done in the same way, right? You have to have different apps. They will have different batteries. They will take different service. They will take different operational integration into your system. They don't all have the same chargers or work with the same chargers. All we want to do is show customers and end users what is possible. and show them how this world can work and hope that everybody sees the benefit of doing something in a standardized way and going from there. It's going to be it's going to be interesting.
Already has.
Well, thank you both so much for taking the time to speak with me today and provide some insight on the ZQuip system and what you're seeing in the industry and the push towards electrification.